Let's continue with basic differentiation. In this video, we will learn how to apply basic rules of differentiation. Here is the first basic rule of differentiation. If you're given y equals to a times x to the power of n, where a and n are both constants, then when you differentiate to get dy dx, it will be a times n, where n was the original power of x, times x to the power of n minus 1. Notice that the original power n has been brought down, and the new power is now the original power n less 1. Let's try a few examples using the first formula that we just learned. If you're given this, how do you find dy dx? Now before I start to differentiate, I'm going to write each of these terms into power form in order for it to be consistent with this form. So 2 over x cubed will become 2 times x to the power of minus 3, plus 4 over square root x will be plus 4 times x to the power of minus half, plus 7x will just simply be 7x. Now I'm ready to differentiate. dy dx is equal to, keep the two coefficients, bring down the power minus 3, and x instead of power 3 minus 3 will become power minus 4 because power less 1. Let's continue. The next term, I keep the plus 4 coefficient, bring down the power minus half, and the x is now powered minus half minus 1, so minus 3 over 2. Let's continue. Plus 7, let's keep the coefficient plus 7. Now there is a power here, and this is actually a power 1, which we do not need to write. So there is a power 1 here which is brought down, and x will now be power 1 minus 1, so power 0. Now let's tidy all these up. 2 times minus 3, 4 times minus half, 7 times 1, and x power 0 is equal to 1. So we are left with just 7. So this is my first answer for dy dx. Now, I would like to point your attention to the differentiation of the term 7x. You notice that 7x will differentiate to 7. So, a quick and dirty way to differentiate a term where x is powered 1 is simply to eliminate the x term totally and just left with the coefficient. Just to give you another example, if I am to differentiate 8x, it should give me 8. Similarly, if I am to differentiate minus 8t, I should be left with just the coefficient minus 8. Let's try another one. You're given z equals to x cubed plus x squared over x. Now again, before I differentiate, I need to make sure it is of this form. So I am going to separate the fraction this way, and then I'm going to simplify term by term. X cubed over x plus x squared over x. So I'm left with this. Now I'm ready to differentiate. dz dx is equal to first term x squared. So I'm going to bring down the power 2, and x instead of power 2 will be powered 1 because power must less 1. The next term, there was a power 1 here, so I'm going to bring down power 1, and x will become power 0. Simplify, I get 1. 2x plus 1 is my final answer. Here is another example. again, let me write it into a form that is consistent with this. So 7 over root x is 7x to the power of minus half. This term is fine, leave it as it is, plus 5. Now I'm ready to differentiate. I'm going to call it f prime x. Remember in the earlier video, I said another way to represent differentiation is to call it f prime x. Okay, I'm ready to differentiate. Keep the 7, bring down power minus half. X is now power minus 3 over 2 because power less 1. Let's continue. Keep minus 6. Bring down power 3. X becomes squared now. Plus 5. Now you don't see any x here. Actually there is an x. It is x power 0, which is not written. It is hidden. So going by that notion, copy the plus 5. Bring down power 0. 5 times 0, isn't that just 0? So this leaves me to conclude that when I differentiate constant number, such as 5, I always end up with 0 as the answer. Let's tidy up. This is my final answer. Here is a quiz. If you're given this expression for v, what is dv dt? Is it A, B, C? Answer should be A. Now first, let's write it into power form. So t to the power of 3 over 2 plus 5 over 7, t to the power of minus 1. Now I'm going to keep the fractional coefficient as it is. I'm concerned with the t. T is the only one I bring up. So now I can differentiate. dv dt is bring down the power 3 over 2, and t will now be powered half because 3 over 2 minus 1 is half. Next term, keep 5 over 7, bring down power minus 1, t to the power of minus 2 now. Upon tidying up, this is my final answer, so answer is A.